Well, caretakers of a historic cemetery that has roots dating back to the foundation of the state of Texas are worried that the end of a decades-old agreement with the city of Carrizo Springs may jeopardize that rich history. Tonight, the News 4i team's Mariah Medina is pushing for answers about what prompted this move in the first place and explains why local residents there are so concerned.
You know, everybody out here has a story. I'll probably tell you about 9/10 of them.
Bert Bell's roots run deep in Carrizo Springs, with 4 generations of Bells buried right here at Mount Hope Cemetery, where he serves on the association that manages the hundreds of historic plots on the publicly owned land. And the way locals like Bert tell it, the cemetery has enjoyed free water from the city until very recently, when he got a call from the city manager.
She called me one afternoon at 4:30 and informed me they was cutting the water off because it's now against the law for them to give us water, where for the past 100 years it hadn't been.
An agreement dating back to when the city's founder, Levi English, donated the land to the city, though Bell, the city's historian, acknowledges that English didn't read or write. But what troubled Bell the most was what appeared to be a lack of planning behind the decision.
And I asked him, I said, how much water are we using? Well, I don't know. Well, if we go to paying for water, how much would it be? I don't know. Well, what if? And every question I asked was, I don't know.
Bert says they're not asking for handouts and are ready to pay their fair share if need be. But they want the city to enforce this across the board.
City manager indicated there were 7 different entities she's shutting the water off.
We tried to talk to the newly appointed city manager, Azalea Garcia, to see what other entities were impacted and why now. She declined to talk to us on camera, but pointed us to a statement provided to the local paper, which fails to answer those questions. Though she did say the move had nothing to do with a 2019 audit that revealed the city was losing 71 million gallons of water per year, or close to 19% of its water production. Recommendations from that audit included an overhaul of the town's piping. Much like Bell,
nobody expected it to disappear overnight, which literally the water did.
Mary Lou Martin wants to ensure that the grounds have some connection to the utility to protect and preserve the land.
This was my mother and my father,
where they too will someday take their final rest.
We care about our history here. We're very proud of it. His father did an amazing job of keeping the history of Dimmitt County alive. And Bert is doing the same thing, the legacy that comes with it.
While the water is currently flowing at the cemetery to assess how much water is being used, for how long remains to be seen. But Bell and Martin say they're willing to go the distance for a solution.
History written or verbal is important because without it, we don't know who we are, where we come from, and it always repeats itself.
For the News 4i team.
Pride and history will repeat itself.
I'm Mariah Medina.
Do you have a story that you'd like the I-Team to look into? Well, if so, you can call the News 4i Team tip line at 210-476-1070, or you can send an email to iteam@news4sa.com.